of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, September 15th, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.11 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,323 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $612. Antiwar.com reports Syria's ceasefire is holding, with the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights noting that there has not been a single death over the first 48 hours of the truce. The U.S. and Russia have agreed to extend the ceasefire, which was initially set for 7 days, by an additional 48 hours. There have been dozens of claimed ceasefire violations over the period, with Russia claiming they documented 60 such incidents. Still no deaths to show for it. Stray gunfire here and there is a dramatic improvement over the usual situation in the Civil War. The U.S. State Department, similarly grousing about violations, conceded violence was significantly lower and said that so long as that remains the case, there would be more discussion of more extensions, with an eye towards an indefinite extension of the deal. Part of the deal was for 7 days of pause in strikes against the Nusra Front, with the U.S. and Russia launching joint operations against Nusra afterwards. Several Pentagon officials have expressed opposition to this idea, but it seems to still be at least on the table. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.xyz, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.xyz today to find out more. UPI reports the House Oversight Committee will conduct a hearing with executives from Mylan, a pharmaceutical company that has significantly increased the price of the EpiPen, an auto-injector used to treat severe allergic reactions. Witnesses for the hearing, which starts September 21st, will include Mylan Chief Executive Heather Bresch, who is the daughter of Senator Joe Manchin. Doug Throckmorton, Deputy Director of the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research at the FDA, is also scheduled to testify, as legislators have questioned the agency about delays in approving a generic version of the EpiPen. Committee Chairman Jason Chaffetz of Utah and Ranking Democrat Elijah Cummings of Maryland said in a joint statement, "There is justified outrage from families and schools across the country struggling to afford the high price of the EpiPens. We also plan to examine ways to encourage greater competition in the EpiPen market and to speed FDA's approval of acceptable new generic applications." Mylan has raised the price of the life-saving injector to $500 for a 2-pack from $57 per shot when it took over production of the product in 2007. Bresch, who became Mylan's CEO in 2002, helped lead the company's lobbying efforts to have schools carry EpiPens for students with allergies. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports 3 rights groups launched a campaign on Wednesday to try to persuade President Barack Obama to pardon former NSA contractor Edward Snowden on U.S. theft and espionage charges before Obama leaves office in January. The ACLU, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch said the time was right to rally support for a pardon for Snowden, who leaked documents about top-secret U.S. surveillance programs to journalists in 2013, fled to Hong Kong, and was granted asylum in Russia. Speaking on Wednesday via video, Snowden told a news conference in New York City that he was comfortable with the decisions he had made, but whether or not he gets a presidential pardon is not up to him. Snowden added, "I do not myself ask for a pardon, and I never will." Snowden said he cannot receive a fair trial in the United States because a law he was charged under, the 1917 Espionage Act, does not allow him to explain to a jury his reasons for leaking information. A pardon now may make sense for Obama, according to some of the groups, because he may be seeking to burnish his legacy and be able to act with less concern for politics. Obama will leave office at the end of his second 4-year term on January 20th. The campaign coincides with the release of the film titled Snowden, directed by Oliver Stone. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Turning to Capitol Hill, House Republicans are considering their own version of the Violence Against Women Act. The GOP hopes their new No Punch Pretty Lady bill will finally help the party appeal to female voters.
No punch, no rape. Pass law. Women give big smiles at us again. Big votes.
Among its statutes, the bill would introduce harsher penalties for putting fists to women's face and proposes that if ladies smell nice like flowers, no smash lady.
And what if Pretty Lady Al-Qaeda? What if she death panel? What if she Benghazi? Yes, in some cases, punch lady.
In addition to increasing funding to shelters for crying ladies hurt from doing sex with bad guys, the bill also includes a clause complimenting the nation's women for losing weight.
And in other headlines, Lady Gaga kidnaps Commissioner Gordon. A man who likes to move it is still searching for the perfect song. And Rod Stewart is mistaken for an elderly aunt.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We will be talking about North Korea, and as you know, or at least according to the Facebook meme, North Korea is best Korea. Apparently, someone who went on one of the tours of North Korea, and yes, you can go on a tour in North Korea, this guy took some pictures that the North Korean government doesn't want you to see, and he tells his story. Yes, he survived to tell the story. We have that. Plus, it's Daryl, Chris, and Conan in studio, and Chris is actually going to start out by telling us about some weird government bureaucracy gone wrong.
Well, that's hardly a spoiler now, is it? I don't even know if that's a tease, because you could open up the newspaper any day and go, wow, look, a U.S. government agency run amok. Here we go.
And they did it for a lot of money.
And I don't think I actually said a U.S. government agency. I just said bureaucracy.
Yeah,
it could be the story about the court down in Florida that ruled that municipalities can indeed pass ordinances prohibiting you from growing vegetables in your yard.
Yep. Well, I'm sure that's going to keep a lot of people safe as they're starving. So
Yes.
A lot of people have, there are a lot of people in the world. There are two types of people in the world. There are people who are Android people, and there are people who are iPhone people. That's how I separate the entire masses. You're either in one group or not.
No.
True.
And what about the third group of people who don't even know what they have? It's just the way that they call their
We call
wife.
them the Conans.
No, I'm Android.
Oh,
And
are you
then-
good?
I'm
Okay.
talking about the old dudes that have that one phone that it's paid for by someone else in their family.
Shutterbug or...
And it's just, it's a monthly pay.
But then there's that small fraction, and I cannot stress how small of a fraction it is, that has a Windows phone, and then a equally small fraction of people that still use BlackBerry.
Very true. And I'm just making a rash generalization because I felt like making a rash generalization. But a lot of people that are familiar with the Android phone are familiar with Samsung. And if you're familiar with Samsung, they've recently released their flagship, and that is the Note 7. That's their phablet.
Now,
Is that what? Wait. It's called a phablet.
That's
It's
the common vernacular.
It's because it's a mix between a tablet and a smartphone.
it's a phone-sized tablet or a tablet-sized phone.
I'm looking at a picture of it. It's huge.
It's a big phone. Yeah, and I use the Note series. I'm on a Note 5 right now, I think.
I'm on a 3.
I thought the Nexus was the big thing that people were looking for, not the Note.
That's Google's Google branded stuff, who they never make, but they work with a manufacturer to bring sort of the latest and greatest of Android in its pure form to the masses. So companies like Samsung take Android, and then they add their own spin to it, their own flavor, which is what we refer to as bloatware.
Yes.
But sometimes it's useful, and
that
sometimes
you can't
it's not.
actually uninstall. You can only
Well, you can uninstall if you do this risky thing called rooting the phone that I don't know how it works. I just know it's risky. And I do know people that have turned their phones into couple $100 paperweights by doing this incorrectly.
I rooted my last tablet because it had space issues, really, really bad. The way that that they configured the hard drive.
Right.
So, I mean, and I wasn't able to install anything more than 500 megabytes. So rooted. When it was an arduous experience.
So this is not Tech Talk Live. It is Free Talk Live, and there's a point that we will get to.
There is
about why the Samsung is even being mentioned.
Yeah. So a lot of people are familiar with the Note 7, and they're familiar with the problems that this thing has had with its battery. The problems.
Oh, is this the thing? I think I heard somebody say that like 1 in 32,000 of the batteries just exploded. Like the phone blew up.
They started sizzling and smoking and melted.
And they've lit some garages and cars on fire, and they have burned some people. So I'm going to get into this story, and this is coming to us from CNET. Samsung's Note 7 formally recalled by the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
Okay, that seems to be something that when phones start just catching fire spontaneously,
combusting, that
if there is to be a government agency, that recalling said phone seems to be along the lines of what they should do.
You would think.
Yeah, but do you think Samsung needed this agency to even get involved? I mean, their customers are their biggest concern.
We'll get there. That point is coming up. So, the U.S. Safety Agency says Samsung has received 92 reports of batteries overheating in the U.S., including 26 reports of burns and 55 reports of property damage. But now it's official. If you've still got a Samsung Galaxy Note 7, you've got to hand it over. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission on Thursday issued a recall for all Note 7 phones sold in the country before September 15th. The group said, quote, consumers should immediately stop using and power down the recalled Galaxy Note 7 devices and contact the location they purchased the devices from to either get a new Note 7, a refund, or a replacement device. Shortly after the CPSC issued its recall, Samsung said it would have replacement devices in store by September 21st. Samsung's effort to replace the Note 7 in the U.S. had been stalled, waiting for the CPSC to come to the decision to recall the device. Samsung has received 92 reports on the batteries overheating in the U.S., including 26 reports of burns and 55 reports of property damage, including fires in cars and a garage, the CPSC said. Samsung launched its Galaxy Note 7 phablet in late August to much fanfare and overall favorable reviews, but users... page change. Noticed some problems with the device. Specifically, a battery cell issue caused some notes to overheat and start fires. Airlines have banned customers from using them on flights. After 35 reported incidents of overheating smartphones worldwide, Samsung earlier this month made the unprecedented decision to recall every single one of the Galaxy Note 7 smartphones sold. That's said to be about 1 million of the 2.5 million that were manufactured.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand this correctly. Last month, Samsung rolls out this phone. Much touted, hey, we're coming out with the greatest thing since sliced gravy.
Dun, dun, dun,
and
dun, 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 dun.
Here's this phablet. And yes, I know the quote is since sliced bread, but since they're calling this thing a phablet, that's a mix between a tablet and a gravy, I'm mixing my metaphors.
If you put gravy in the refrigerator and let it harden, gellify, you can't slice it like bread.
Greatest thing since sliced gravy.
There we go.
Then there's problems. Samsung says, hey guys, there's some problems. You might want to turn those phones in. And then comes benevolent dictator, consumer product safety, something another. And about a week after Samsung says, hey, turn those in, they say,
oh, yeah, by the way,
we are to save the day. Everybody turn in those products.
We just want to let you guys know that proclamation last week, well, it's official now because we're putting our stamp of approval on it.
It's almost like you're watching the Grammys and Kanye West just like runs up on stage. Hey, yo, Samsung, I'm going to let you finish, but that recall was the greatest one ever. Y'all should totally do that.
It is. It's absolutely absurd. So here you have a company that really did have a hot product on their hands, no pun intended. It was a big deal, and a lot of people were jumping on it. It was talked about as, the phone you should switch from iPhone. If you're going to go to Android, this is the one you should get. All this stuff, they have a problem. And, of course, every company wants to minimize the damage to their stockholders and to their company, so they probably said, we're going to look at it. We're going to see if we can patch it with software or something like that. They found out that they couldn't, and they immediately were responsible enough to say, you know what? This is bad. We're going to recall them all. Yet, here comes the federal government a week or two later just to do what?
To reinforce the voluntary recall. Your calls and thoughts, welcome on this or anything that's on your mind, including North Korea. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. TLC Laser Eye Centers is now offering great prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved all-laser LASIK technology for less than what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-929-5733. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra $400 off your all-laser LASIK procedure. That's $200 off per eye. We've already performed over 2 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve for less than what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-929-5733. 1-800-929-5733.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $5 higher at $1,324 per ounce. Silver is 15 cents higher at $19.07 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $608 US. Check our selection of Royal Canadian Mint products, beautiful bars and coins with enhanced security features. For more information, call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight is Daryl.
Chris.
And Conan.
And we're talking about the Samsung Note 7, specifically the formal recall by the Consumer Product Safety Commission that happened about 2 weeks after a voluntary recall issued by Samsung.
Yeah, it's just insane, and this is why this story kind of fascinates me. People ask, well, or people state we have to have agencies like the Consumer Product Safety Commission to keep us safe.
Otherwise, these big companies will take advantage of us. They'll sneak.
They will.
They'll sneak things into the market that are harmful to. They'll put lead in their toys, and they'll
do all kinds of things.
Nonsense that'll just get the kids sick.
Yeah, but at the heart of this is Samsung's interest to make a buck. They're not doing this because they like to. They came up with this phone because they anticipated a huge return to their stockholders. And if they have problems with that, they know that that's going to impact sales, not just in that phone, but they know it's going to impact their entire line. So they had this interest in, identifying the problem, seeing what if it could be fixed through a patch, and when it couldn't be, they voluntarily did this. Now, what happens when the Consumer Product Safety Commission? It's not just that they put out a press release and say, we recall thee. You are now recalled. Jump back in your box and go back to your store. That's not how it works. You can bet that a file is now opened up. Mm-hmm. And the file is called the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 recall.
Hey, these guys,
and a whole team of bureaucrats will be assigned to this, and they will track. Okay, Samsung, where did you ship all these phones? Where did they go to?
Yeah, Samsung might find themselves in front of Congress in the next 2 months. Just answering to their mishaps.
Yes,
right. And see, this is what happens when you go through sort of the formal processes of various things. Now, Chris, you're a selectman in a neighboring town near Keene, New Hampshire, where we do this show, and if someone comes to you and says, hey, Mr. Selectman guy, can you answer this question for me? And it's something that you know the answer to, you can say, yeah, I can answer that and provide the answer. Or the person could not realize that they could just ask you the question and do a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information request.
Sure.
And then there's a lot of paperwork that has to be filed in compliance with that FOIA request, and then you send them the answer, and then you've got to keep that file for some period of time.
Sure.
So, when you go through the formal processes, as the Consumer Product Safety Commission did here, even though there was the voluntary recall, and the feds could have just said, oh, the company's handling it. They're like, nope, we've got people whose job it is to fill out paper. They need something to do. Hey, fill out some paper on this.
And a lot of these bigger companies, they do handle a lot of their issues internally because of just what you said. It gets convoluted. You get so many bureaucrats involved that it's not cost effective. So it's like, no. You slipped and fell on our floor. We're just going to take care of it. You don't need to. Don't go anywhere. Don't go any further. We're just going to give you a check. Or if they're sued by another company. I mean, it's all internal these days for the big companies. The smaller ones,
they try.
They try and they try to keep it They try to wrap it up.
Oh, yeah. And now, Conan, I think I mentioned to you one time that I slipped and fell in a Walmart.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was this the Walmart that Conan used to work at?
It was not. It was not. It was in a different state. But I was asking a question in the optical area. You know, sometimes they have like an optometrist set up in there, talking to them. And I did not really register with me that they had set up this big, like, summer display, which involved a wading pool filled with sand and toys.
Okay.
Right by the register, facing the direction that you would walk out of the store.
Okay.
So I kind of flew in, like, not really paying attention to anything.
Looking for your Galaxy 7?
Exactly. Talked to the girl, turned around to walk out. My eye level is above this thing, and I hit it. And I just endoed. My girlfriend still laughs to this day about that. But let me tell you what happened. We were actually on our way out of town. We were going on vacation. For the next 3 weeks, I got phone calls from Walmart.
Wow.
We really would like to have you in. We have a doctor who was happy to see that. We want to make sure that all your medical bills are covered. Anything that we can do to make sure. And, of course, they're doing that because they want to protect themselves. They don't want me to be that guy that contacts a TV lawyer and says, I fell at Walmart.
Saul.
My.
What's Saul's name?
Yeah.
Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman.
Oh, I hate that guy. I can't watch that show.
Yeah.
You know.
But it was a nice. It was their effort to minimize this, so it didn't go any bigger. And if that would have gone bigger, then who would have stepped in? OSHA would have stepped in, and God knows what other government agencies would have been on that Walmart trying to figure out.
And then
where procedures.
And then every Walmart employee would have been watching 3 more OSHA videos that year instead of
I don't
just
know
one.
if OSHA would have been there because you were not
I wasn't
an
an employee. But you know what I mean? It would have been.
There would be some government agency coming in and saying, you've got to make sure that blah, 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 and your product displays have to be more than X and Y, and they need to be marked off, and they have to have ropes around them at this level. And
it would have been crazy. But I feel for Samsung, too, in that they really did step out. And I feel sorry for the American public because we're the people who are going to end up paying for this redundant recall. We're going to pay hundreds of bureaucrats for hundreds, if not thousands of hours to track, process. If you go to the Consumer Product Safety Commission's webpage, they have a whole page on regulation, laws, and standards. And I have barely even scratched the surface, but headings regarding every statute that they follow, their mandatory standards, their bans, their regulations, their rulemaking process. All this is so unnecessary. You know, this is what the market does. And it's even better now. I say better now because we have the internet. And there is no more of this. You know, we found that toys sold in Washington State by Hasbro, and Hasbro, I'm making this up, so let's just say any toy company.
The Acme Toy Company.
The Acme Toy Company used lead paint in their little,
too, by the way,
in their wiener dog toys or whatever it happens to be, and
rocket skates.
Right, and everybody on the planet would hear about it within about a day. It would go viral on Facebook.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not just bureaucrats that are taking advantage of this system. You know, I actually caught a scam artist in the act at a Walmart. I think it was Tennessee. Saw some water.
Oh, yeah. I'm headed that way.
Went over and tested it. And I'm watching all this, and I am approaching as fast as I can. She tested it, and then she intentionally slipped in it.
Well,
I saw the entire thing, and it blew my mind. I was so upset, and I was trying to keep my cool the whole time. I helped the lady up, and I was apologizing and this and that, because I didn't get there fast enough.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever happened to that. I told my boss what had happened. I told her that it was, on camera.
The fix was in.
What camera was pointed in that direction.
Oh, that's good.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, contractor or other construction-related trade, ContractorExam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome, whether it be incompetent bureaucrats or North Korea or anything in between. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. In studio tonight is Daryl,
Chris,
and Conan.
And before we go to North Korea with a story, not actually physically going to North Korea, want to make sure it would be one hell of a road trip. Want to make sure, and I wonder if people in North Korea are actually able to use Bitcoin, because we know that they can't necessarily access the internet. But if they could use Bitcoin, then I would suggest that they, as I'm suggesting to you, download the official wallet of Free Talk Live. That would be the Jax wallet. You can get it at jax.io. That's JAXX.io. Or in the App Store of your choice. There's no wallet like it It holds Bitcoin, Ether, DAO, and now Dash. And I hear more currencies are coming. There's Shapeshift integration built into the app that allows you to frictionlessly and easily exchange between currencies. It was created by Free Talk Live listener Anthony Diorio, who's also the creator of CryptoKit. Jax is easy to back up and recover, and Jax is striving to give you command over your digital life. Coins, contracts, currencies, identities, and more. Your digital command center in the palm of your hand. Jax, that's Jaxx, the official wallet of Free Talk Live. Now, we love a good story about North Korea and a good story about Venezuela here on Free Talk Live. And, you know, there's not really a lot that we learn about North Korea.
We see pictures and we hear the stories from Venezuela. It's like they're pretty much an open book. You got people, trying to get over the borders.
They're not that open.
Kind of the opposite of an open book.
Well,
but I know what you mean.
You got people coming over the borders, buying their gasoline, buying their sugar or whatever, and they're going back to make good
illegally.
Money.
They're illegally going across the border. When people do legally go across the border, it's very sparse and it's very sporadic and at like a weekend at a time.
Yeah, but how many people, all right, versus Venezuela, how many North Koreans are going over the borders? You don't hear a whole lot of them. Sometimes you hear some general defecting.
That's the way you get out of North Korea is you defect. But you were trying to say that Venezuela's open. Well, no, the Venezuelan government a couple of months ago made it illegal to take pictures of long lines outside of grocery stores. They've made it illegal to take pictures of the empty shelves inside grocery stores. So, no, they are not open about how horrible things are in Venezuela.
Compared to North Korea.
Right, and I think when you talk about the controls of the borders and things like that, North Korea is, you're not getting out. If you get out of North Korea, it's because you risked your life to get out of North Korea.
Or
Venezuela's probably not there.
You crawled through a crapshoot, 200 feet of crapshoot, and you landed in what's that? Oh, that's Shawshank Redemption. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, there are some people that are allowed to visit North Korea, and on those visits, they have a guide that takes them to all of the approved tourist destinations.
Specified destinations.
And they, from what I hear, will actually check your cameras to make sure that you are not taking unapproved photos. Well, there was one man from London who not only took some unapproved photos, he was able to smuggle those unapproved photos out of North Korea, and he has lived to tell about it.
Yes,
we have that story
He's
now.
probably on a list right now. They're probably sending out their
He's probably on a list just because he went to North Korea.
Actually, that's probably right on target. But now you got the North Korean ninjas snooping about England right now, looking for this guy to take him out.
I seriously doubt that. We'll just put that on the list of Conan conspiracy theories until it's found out to be true or false. But anyway, this man, Michael Hunewicz, a London-based photographer and software developer, managed to take prohibited photos during his visit to the militarized state and make it out with them intact. His pictures reveal the kind of day-to-day existence that North Koreans lead, but few know about. Hunewicz was part of a small group that was granted special permission to tour the seclusive country for 4 days in August of last year. Visitors are only allowed entry into North Korea through pre-arranged tours that are booked through agencies. Hunewicz says, your typical list of belongings. We were told that if we bring any porn into the country and they find it, they will show it to our travel companions to embarrass us and confiscate the device. They also searched the laptops for any Korean films, the comedy film The Interview, and books about North Korea, even travel guides. If it's anything about North Korea, will be confiscated.
Has anyone seen The Interview yet?
I did.
A lot of people saw it, but I have not.
It was on the Netflix for a while. I just kept passing over it. It just didn't interest me. What'd you think, Chris?
Has its moments.
I'm not a big fan of any of those two jokers. I don't even know their names.
I am a true connoisseur of lowbrow humor, so while most people find it crass,
so it was raw,
crass and offensive.
Raw humor.
It's just stupid. What you'd expect, you know. I'm okay with it.
Hunowicz continues. They didn't look at my Kindle though. The whole check lasted 3 hours, and one of us had his film about the fall of Yugoslavia deleted for some reason. The trip cost between $800 to $1,000, involved a flight from Beijing to China, or rather from Beijing, China, to North Korea's capital of Pyongyang. It says, although Pyongyang has 2 power stations, the electricity supply is in a perpetual state of emergency. Neither power station produces enough power to supply more than one district at a time.
So what is the purpose of this visit? Do they have to proclaim their reason for visiting? I mean, doesn't really sound like the biggest tourist attraction in the world. So you've got these Westerners wanting to come in our country. They've got to be snoops. They got to be snooping for something, right?
Well, that's why.
So they take them to all these designated areas.
Well, that the fear that they're spies is why the North Korean government does not allow them to go anywhere without a guide.
Why let anybody in?
Because you have to let somebody in, otherwise, America's going to bomb you. At least that's the claim that the Kims put out there, that they blame everything on America. America is the reason.
So do I.
That America's not the reason that the power plants in Pyongyang cannot power the entire city.
It's what they tell their people to keep them under control.
Right,
as long as there's this huge, it goes back to pick your favorite dystopian novel.
But Conan just said that he blames America for everything. So you're agreeing that with Kim Jong-un that it's America's fault that their power stations, the 2 of them, do not create enough electricity to power the entire city?
Yeah, why not? I'll go there.
You're a lunatic. He continues, upon arriving, foreign visitors are escorted by tour guides who surveil them throughout their entire time there. Some may wonder why anyone would dare even step foot into such a place. He says, this is in a shop with this is talking about a picture where it's pictures of souvenir books about the Kims. Let me skip down. He says his visit to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea was motivated by his family's personal experience with communism in eastern Poland, or what is today Lithuania and Belarus. He says, I'm the first generation in 4 not to be arrested by communists. It was difficult to feel attracted to what quite possibly is the most weird state on the planet. I'll continue with this and your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. Would you ever visit North Korea?
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply. Or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. Earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's F-I-V-E starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight is Daryl,
Chris,
and Conan.
And we were going over this article about a guy that visited North Korea, and I just want to finish his answer of why he wanted to visit North Korea, and then we will go to the phones. His name is Hunowitz. That's the last name. Michael Hunowitz went to North Korea, took a bunch of photos that the North Korean government didn't want him to take, and he was able to smuggle these out. He's telling his story. He said that he visited, or his visit was partially motivated by his family's personal experience with communism in Eastern Poland, or in what is today Lithuania and Belarus. He says, "I'm the first in 4 generations not to be arrested by communists. Therefore, it wasn't difficult to feel attracted to what quite possibly is the most weird state on the planet, with its insane cult of personality, quasi-religious beliefs. In other words, to have my share of communism, and in a comfortable fashion, only for a few days, and then to return home." More from this story, but first, your calls. Greg in New York, you're on Free Talk Live with Daryl, Chris, and Conan. What's on your mind?
Hey, so, I often call in with the statist point of view. I wanted to sort of do the opposite and point out the latest news. Have you guys heard about the Wells Fargo fiasco?
I am a customer of Wells Fargo, and yes, I have.
Yeah, I'm a customer myself.
So, yeah, I remember
So
years
what's the
ago,
fiasco?
The current fiasco with Wells Fargo is that employees, with their incentive structures to boost their numbers, decided to create a lot of fake accounts in the names of their customers without their knowledge or permission.
Wasn't it like 2 million accounts or something?
Something. It was
2 million or 5 million seems to ring a bell, but it was a whole lot. And it wasn't that Wells Fargo said do this; it's that they structured a compensation plan that would encourage employees to do the wrong thing. Is that fair to say?
Exactly. It's the incentive structure that led to a lot of these things. And then when they're prosecuted, of course, their buddies in the government slap them with only about 5% of their yearly intake. And they also signed that any crime that they have done during this time will be overlooked. If there's anything else, it'll be overlooked as well.
Yeah, well,
So
they're huge contributors to the candidates that we know of and government in general. They put a lot of money towards that direction, and as far as lobbies are concerned as well.
Right. And so what I kind of wanted to bring up, this is the latest in basically too big to fail bank things. I remember HSBC a few years ago was prosecuted but considered above the law because it's too big to be prosecuted. And a few years before that, Wells Fargo and other banks were running drugs to Mexico, I believe. Or no, they weren't running drugs. They were financing drug gangs in Mexico.
Yep. And helping launder money and all sorts of things.
Right. So this is a classic example of obviously kind of a revolving door and at the same time regulatory capture. And of course, 2008, the crash, nobody went to jail, and so forth. So when you have
Martha Stewart went to jail, I believe.
And I think you can throw crony capitalism in there too. You've got a lot of course, the same people that work for the banks are now the regulators, and campaign money flows freely from Wall Street and from the biggest banks to our most powerful politicians.
That's right. I mean, now there's a scandal with Hillary Clinton, but she just did what everybody else did, which is big speaking fees. What's more egregious is there's an article by Matt Taibbi a few years ago, Why Isn't Wall Street in Jail? And it details a lot of the practices with the fake, what do they call it? The CDSs that they passed off as junk. They marked it up and they sold it off to the public, and it was fraud, and nobody went to jail for that. And so my point, though, is this, that, of course, the regulatory capture is a big problem, and too big to fail banks are a huge problem. I would like to decentralize banking and all that stuff, but this kind of stuff also happens on all levels. I mean, it happens in small towns as well. So if you manage to get rid of the state and have only neighborhoods, you'd still have cronyism. I mean, you could have a school. I know schools. My mom works as a teacher, and you can only get certain approved vendors to give to service the school. And the same thing with my building. You can only get the internet providers, and they form a cartel. They don't compete with each other. So it happens on all levels.
Yeah, but at least you can go talk to those people. You can talk to that teacher, and you can talk to the school board and figure out why that regulation exists.
That regulation exists because somebody on the school board decided we're going to do business with this company that I'm connected to.
But at least you can go talk to that person, whereas I'm not going to be able to talk to any of these lobbyists at Wells Fargo or the legislators who they're putting money in their pockets.
And I'm kind of a localist, if there is such a thing, but I do kind of like the idea of damage being minimized. So, for example, that is the flip side of too big to fail is too big to control. When Wells Fargo does something like this, it's in millions and millions and millions of people. And if you had a small town bank that had the exact same scenario, we accidentally or on purpose set up a compensation plan that encouraged people to open more banks, more accounts for people that already had accounts. You're talking about a much, much, much smaller number of people that would be affected by a bad apple, and maybe it would be harder to hide, and maybe they would be more likely to prosecute. Maybe.
Exactly. I mean, I consider myself a minarchist in the sense that I am not for abolishing all government, but I think if you set up a minimum safety net and you don't allow people to die, but you allow corporations to go out of business and lose resources, I think at that point you can deregulate and you can have smaller, you can decentralize, have smaller banks, as you said, as long as there's a safety net so that if things go wrong locally, and people don't, run out of resources and die. Nobody has to die from this.
Hold on. Did you say that there should be a safety net to make sure no one ever dies?
Well, I understood what he was saying.
You get what I'm saying. When people run out of resources, they go hungry. When corporations run out of resources, that's a desirable aspect of the market. It's just we can't apply market discipline to people in an unlimited fashion.
So you're not saying keep people artificially alive forever because if we don't pump them full of all of these fluids and keep them on this breathing machine and a heart pump, then they'll die. It doesn't matter that they're 500 years old. We can't let them die.
I think the only thing he and I will differ on is how you get to that safety net, and there are lots of ways for safety nets in lots of different areas to be created, and one of those can be voluntary.
I like the free market safety net. I think it works very well. We talked about the Samsung issue. They took care of their issues because they are concerned with their customers and their all holy dollar at the end of the day. It's very important to them.
Well, in the same sense, I mean, we have some poverty-stricken people in my town who I don't want to see go hungry. I don't want people to starve. And we happen to have a fairly large group of people that run an amazing food shelf, and they do it voluntarily, and they go out and seek and receive donations to keep the thing operating.
And you
I
probably
think it's a great choice. Now, the other choice would be to, tax, have the government collect that money and then purchase food, then distribute it. But our money's never going to go as far because
3/4 of charity goes to the bureaucrats, to the system.
And I'm not saying that's an evil thing, but it's a necessary thing if you have that overhead. So,
well, guys, the last thing I want to say is I disagree with this last part. I think I don't want to leave it up to chance. I mean, before Social Security was instituted, elderly people were, a lot of them in poverty, a lot of them, there was charity, there was all this stuff privately. I actually believe that collective bargaining and economies of scale play into this. When you have a monopsony, a single buyer, they have more power to lower prices. And you see that with Medicare. You see that all over the world with single-payer systems.
Well, they also have the power to increase prices, which is what you're actually seeing with Medicare and Medicaid and all of these other things where it's the government that's making all of these decisions. It's because the government has decided to back student loans that the cost of a college education has
so damn
skyrocketed.
Expensive.
Greg,
and you know what, as far as Medicare and Social Security are concerned, Daryl, you and I, we're not going to be getting any of that.
I know.
It's going to be insolvent by 2030. We're not getting any of that. We've been paying it our whole lives.
It's been insolvent our entire lives. They've just not shut it down yet. Your calls and thoughts welcome. Hour 2 on the way. 855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, September 15th, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.11 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,323 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $612. Antiwar.com reports Syria's ceasefire is holding, with the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights noting that there has not been a single death over the first 48 hours of the truce. The U.S. and Russia have agreed to extend the ceasefire, which was initially set for 7 days, by an additional 48 hours. There have been dozens of claimed ceasefire violations over the period, with Russia claiming they documented 60 such incidents. Still no deaths to show for it. Stray gunfire here and there is a dramatic improvement over the usual situation in the Civil War. The U.S. State Department, similarly grousing about violations, conceded violence was significantly lower and said that so long as that remains the case, there would be more discussion of more extensions, with an eye towards an indefinite extension of the deal. Part of the deal was for 7 days of pause in strikes against the Nusra Front, with the U.S. and Russia launching joint operations against Nusra afterwards. Several Pentagon officials have expressed opposition to this idea, but it seems to still be at least on the table. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.xyz, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.xyz today to find out more. UPI reports the House Oversight Committee will conduct a hearing with executives from Mylan, a pharmaceutical company that has significantly increased the price of the EpiPen, an auto-injector used to treat severe allergic reactions. Witnesses for the hearing, which starts September 21st, will include Mylan Chief Executive Heather Bresch, who is the daughter of Senator Joe Manchin. Doug Throckmorton, Deputy Director of the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research at the FDA, is also scheduled to testify, as legislators have questioned the agency about delays in approving a generic version of the EpiPen. Committee Chairman Jason Chaffetz of Utah and Ranking Democrat Elijah Cummings of Maryland said in a joint statement, "There is justified outrage from families and schools across the country struggling to afford the high price of the EpiPens. We also plan to examine ways to encourage greater competition in the EpiPen market and to speed FDA's approval of acceptable new generic applications." Mylan has raised the price of the life-saving injector to $500 for a 2-pack from $57 per shot when it took over production of the product in 2007. Bresch, who became Mylan's CEO in 2002, helped lead the company's lobbying efforts to have schools carry EpiPens for students with allergies. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports 3 rights groups launched a campaign on Wednesday to try to persuade President Barack Obama to pardon former NSA contractor Edward Snowden on U.S. theft and espionage charges before Obama leaves office in January. The ACLU, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch said the time was right to rally support for a pardon for Snowden, who leaked documents about top-secret U.S. surveillance programs to journalists in 2013, fled to Hong Kong, and was granted asylum in Russia. Speaking on Wednesday via video, Snowden told a news conference in New York City that he was comfortable with the decisions he had made, but whether or not he gets a presidential pardon is not up to him. Snowden added, "I do not myself ask for a pardon, and I never will." Snowden said he could not receive a fair trial in the United States because a law he was charged under, the 1917 Espionage Act, does not allow him to explain to a jury his reasons for leaking information. A pardon now may make sense for Obama, according to some of the groups, because he may be seeking to burnish his legacy and be able to act with less concern for politics. Obama will leave office at the end of his second 4-year term on January 20th. The campaign coincides with the release of the film titled Snowden, directed by Oliver Stone. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Now, how much money will all those closeted Republican convention goers bring into the city, Marie?
A lot. The average area prostitute normally makes around $200 to $300 a week jerking off truck drivers behind the bus station.
I see.
Next week, they are expecting to make 30 times that amount sucking off secretly gay Republicans.
Wow.
You figure the fact that these delegates are so repressed and filled with self-hatred,
yes,
they tend to like the filthiest, kinkiest sex acts imaginable.
Oh, that's
which
right.
tends to cost more. The average well-adjusted gay man has no desire to smear fecal matter all over his partner's face or be beat up by him. But that is exactly the sort of thing that these repressed conservatives are willing to pay top dollar for.
Okay, as well as the services of transsexuals, I understand.
Yes. A lot of the Republicans repeatedly call the prostitutes faggots or start crying after they've had sex with them.
I suppose the prostitutes are shoring up on their politics so they can talk to the Republicans.
Ha ha, Andrea, what do you think this is, Pretty Woman? They're just there to get right.
Thank you, Marie Byron.
RNC's always a good time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're kicking off hour number 2. We will get back into the story about the London photographer that went to North Korea and smuggled out a bunch of photos that the North Korean government does not want anyone to take, let alone ever see outside of the Democratic People's Republic.
You better watch
Korea.
out for the ninjas. They're coming for you.
Don't know why you think that the Koreans have ninjas hiding in London.
Everyone has ninjas.
Even we have ninjas, Daryl.
Yes, we do. I saw it on a movie.
Yeah, and at the Libertarian Party National Convention, there was one of the presidential candidates that kept calling himself a ninja, but that's the worst ninja ever because ninjas don't run around saying, "Hey, everybody, I'm a ninja."
I didn't say everyone produced good ninjas.
The first rule of ninjas.
So obviously he was a very bad ninja to proclaim himself so.
The first rule of ninjas is you don't talk about being a ninja. I wonder if Parker, calling in from Washington, either is a ninja, has ever been a ninja, or has ever wanted to be a ninja. Parker, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thought.
Yeah, I have no idea how I would even be a ninja. I think...
That's what all ninjas say, so I'm fairly certain you actually are a ninja.
Go ahead, ninja.
So I have a couple of things tonight. I've got an update from yesterday's conversation about...
You're going to have to remind people what yesterday's conversation was. I was on the show, and I don't even remember, and I know there are people listening that were not.
Well, one of the big topics last night was... the national anthem and like the movement behind that, people getting behind Kaepernick. And I talked about how my mom and my dad both say it doesn't matter if it's the national anthem, the Canadian national anthem. We're still going to stand.
Would they stand for the North Korean national anthem?
I did not ask that particular question, but I asked a similar one, which was, had you been alive during the 1936 Berlin Olympics, had you been in attendance of said Olympics, would you have stood for the National Social German national anthem? And my mom said no.
I would probably doubt that. I bet everybody there stood because Germany hadn't really revealed itself to be anything other than the miracle of Europe that everyone in America was.
They had a lot of American
proclaiming.
fans.
Yeah.
Lots of American fans.
Yeah. I mean, Adolf Hitler was Time's Man of the Year like twice. So
Right, but the Man of the Year, and Chris, please pull up the actual definition of this, because I have heard it. Just because somebody is Man of the Year does not mean that they are, like, the best person. It just means that they had made the most significant, right, they were, for good or bad, the most newsworthy person of the year.
Okay,
is that
well,
basically the definition there,
Still
Chris?
pulling it up, but that's definitely my understanding. Yeah, that they were they contributed to the international dialogue
for good or bad
in some significant way.
Right. So there's that. I'm definitely going to try and back Kaepernick by sitting at the next Washington State University Cougar game that I go to.
Go Cougars.
Yeah. And also,
although I'm a Huskies fan, I will cheer for the Cougars as long as they're not playing Washington.
You're a UW fan, boo.
Only because my high school mascot was the Huskies, and so I feel some sort of connection there because the University of Washington is the Huskies.
Hold on, Alabama.
Well,
you grew up in Alabama, right?
Yes, the Hewitt-Trussville Huskies.
This always cracks me up. So, in the deep, deep South, and
yes.
It doesn't get much deeper south than Alabama, we chose basically an Arctic dog as our mascot.
And we actually had an Arctic dog that was there. So, we actually had a Husky.
Nice.
So, Georgia Bulldogs, they actually have a bulldog that sits on the sidelines. We actually had a Husky that sat on our sidelines.
What a miserable dog, I'm thinking. Unless he
my mom
had an air conditioner strapped to him.
My mom went to Northern Illinois University, and so I always say the only good Husky is a Northern Illinois Husky.
Yeah. Did you have more to say about the national anthem?
No, but I would like to move on to another topic which happened earlier this morning.
Very brief.
Very brief. So I got a call from a Army recruiter this morning, and he asked, "Hey, have you ever given any thought to joining the Army?" And I knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to say it. So I eventually just went with, "Yeah, I have no desire whatsoever to ever be a government employee." That includes, but is not limited to, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, police, or any other such things. And he's like, "Well, why don't you want to be a government employee?" And it's like, well, the government is a coercive institution, which it uses violence, coercion, compulsion, intimidation, threats of violence against nonviolent people. And I don't know what he said after that, but he basically hung up on me.
But you would be a hero, Parker, a hero in the eyes of the people.
Ooh, a hero, but at what cost?
You could stand up there right next to the golden calf. People would love you.
Oh my.
Nice try playing devil's advocate, but no, I won't do it.
Good.
Well, good.
Parker, thanks.
You've got
for the call.
two military Joes on the show, and I put my 4 in. I don't know how many you served there,
I
Mr.
did
Chris.
4 too.
And I don't miss it. It was, you know what? I used to tell people, young people who didn't know what they wanted to do with themselves, yeah, you know what? Just join. You get free college out of it. You'll get someone telling you how to live your life for 4 years and give you the opportunity to find yourself. But you know what? I never went to war. I lucked out, and I was in between the 90s war and the 2000s war, right in between. I lucked out.
Well, so you never went to Bosnia?
Never went anywhere. I was in the States the whole time.
Yeah, you can never say that there was never a war. So I was in 82 to 86, but during that time we did Grenada. We had Marines stationed in Lebanon. That was the attack on the Marine barracks there. So there's always something going on. But I did choose to go into a non-combat related field. It's one of those things that when I was growing up, and I'm generations past these two youngsters, that we didn't know. I didn't know as much as I do now. I didn't recognize. I was very much just a young fledgling neocon learning my way in the world, which I did. Now back to Time Man of the Year. There have been a couple. Hitler was not a two-peat on that. He did win it once. But the rest of them seem to be U.S. presidents. Franklin Delano Roosevelt won it twice. Let me see. Harry Truman, Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon, not a crook.
Not a crook. Won it back-to-back years. Lyndon Johnson won it in 64 and in 67. But my favorite one was you. You won in 2006.
And is it like a mirror?
It was a picture on the front of a guy pointing at you.
Is it Alfred Newman from Mad Magazine?
No. And the definition is basically the person that, for better or worse, made the most impact in the year.
Yeah, most newsworthy.
What year was that again?
But you also had Stalin won in 42. So yeah, you have a lot of not good actors throughout the years, but Uncle Joe.
But they definitely made the news. They definitely influenced the news the most during that year.
Well, I think what's interesting is these people that have been nominated. This might have been at a time when Joseph Stalin was the one fighting the Nazis on the other front.
Yeah,
and that was really helping out the war effort. So he was seen as kind of a hero. Plus,
Stalin was an ally.
Yeah, he was an ally and a great. A great example of what socialism can do for us.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. Time Man of the Year. Is it worth anything? Or North Korea? Or anything else on your mind? 855-450 free.
The young lady from the rescue delivered happy, and I panicked. He was missing hair, stinky, scabby, and I thought, what did I get us into? The cause of his issue was poor nutrition. It was neglect. The other owners didn't care enough about him to give him the nutrition he needed. But I have a vet that I trust, and she recommended Dinovite. DINOVITE.com. I ordered the first 90-day supply, and within a couple weeks, his skin started clearing up. He didn't smell. He had more energy. He just had a glow and a bounce about him. We've been using Dinovite for the last year, and Happy the rescue dog is Happy the healthy dog. I tell all my friends who have rescues to give their dog the chance at a new start with Dinovite. It's going to pay off for you and your dog for years to come.
859-428-1000. 859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
In a crisis, your number one need is food, but not just any food. Experts say everyone needs to have non-perishable, good for 25 years survival food on hand in case of an emergency. Well, right now, in what is truly an unprecedented move, 72-hour survival food kits are being given away to listeners while supplies last. Survival food is more important today than ever before, explains Frank Bates, a spokesman for the company. Natural disasters, terrorist attacks, and other threats can make obtaining sufficient food impossible in an emergency. This 72-hour survival kit has 16 servings of delicious food rated for 25 years of storage. It sells to the general public for $27 plus shipping, and it's been rated 4.5 out of 5 stars by customers who paid full price. But listeners who act quickly can get it free, just cover $9.95 shipping. Go to freefood2.com right now. Supplies are limited, and the program may end at any time. Go to freefood2.com now. That's freefood2.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Welcome back to Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight is Daryl.
And Conan.
And we started last hour with the story about a man, Michael Hunowicz, who went to North Korea because that is allowed, although it's not your regular vacation, because, well, when you get there, you're accompanied by guides. He said that his group was accompanied by 2 of them who intercepted them in Pyongyang. One of the guides was a woman whom he described as kind. He says she did most of the talking and smiling and even sang them a song.
Oh,
he says it seems that everyone living in Pyongyang has to wear a badge, and you can't just buy one. Supposedly, they give it to you if you're obedient and don't ask stupid questions. Or, rumor is you can buy a counterfeit from China. Isn't China wonderful? Like, you can buy counterfeit everything from China. Even the I'm an obedient North Korean citizen badge.
Just because it's cheaper, just because I buy my eyeglasses from China as opposed to the $200 name brand from here in the States, just because it's cheaper, why does it make that counterfeit? In my book, that makes it the only choice.
You came up with something that looks just like the expensive brand, but only for half the price or a third.
Well, it's counterfeit if they're using the same name.
Yeah.
Or if they're passing it off as the same thing.
That little squiggle in the end on the T on the end makes it unique.
Can I just say that I have days where I feel like giving badges to people who don't ask me stupid questions?
Wait, yeah.
So, hold on.
Yeah,
so Conan would never get one of your badges.
No. I used to get them all the time. It was in kindergarten. I get a star next to my name because I was the good kid.
You didn't ask any stupid questions.
And I was a teacher's pet.
Hunowicz continues, the picture of North Korea that she, being the female guide, painted for us was that of a brave little country defying imperialists. Only the U.S. and Japan were mentioned by name, but they didn't seem to think too highly of the Chinese either, albeit struggling due to their oppression, which happens to go against the official doctrine of Juche, that is, of complete independence from the outside world. Hunowicz said the male guide was more of an authoritative enforcer who appeared more distant to the travelers. He rarely spoke, and when he did, it was in short bursts. Though the male guide was short and skinny, he exuded confidence, inspected seemingly important papers, and was saluted by almost all of the other soldiers. Hunowicz had a challenging time trying to empathize and relate to the people he encountered while in North Korea. The interactions with the guides were beyond cultural reach. Communication was limited, and only the simplest of jokes could be communicated. He says, I forgot to mention you're not allowed to take pictures from the train. There are ordinary North Koreans on the train with you, but they didn't say anything when I took these pictures. There are also uniformed North Koreans, and I avoided taking pictures when they were around. I found it difficult to like them because they lied to us. They said there was no crime in North Korea, no famine, no homosexuality. To be fair, that was their profession, and I had known it would be that way. They were very different from us culturally. We were a fairly diverse bunch, anyway, all Westerners, but from different continents. Pluralism and individualism are regarded as the greatest enemy in North Korea. I understood the significance of being able to drive a car anywhere you want, when you please, where you please. As our guide told us in North Korea, you can only travel big distances by bus or train when you get permission.
Well, that's the same here.
No.
You can't drive any distance without permission.
No. What they're saying, they're not saying you have to have a driver's license. They're saying
and a registered vehicle.
If you want to drive,
and a vehicle inspection.
If you want to drive from Keene to California, you have to call up
papers, please,
Korean central government and say, I would like to travel this distance, and then they give you permission or deny your request. That's what he means by you can only travel long distances with permission.
How did he figure all this out? He was there, 4 days? He says he saw crime. Does he talk about the crime that he saw?
He did not say that he saw any crime, but he said the guides told them crime does not exist in North Korea.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe they smack it down so quick.
Well, yeah.
He says the itinerary was prearranged with a tight schedule that allowed for little deviation. The guides would put the travelers to sleep and wake them up at 8 a.m. with a phone call to their hotel rooms. The hotel rooms were equipped with a shabby radio by their beds, which they suspected was actually for surveillance. In addition, the travelers had no planning to do because everything was pretty much set for them. The guides were often on the phone, and we thought it was to warn people that we were coming so they could switch the lights on and prepare to make a good impression. As for food, they were allowed to visit designated restaurants that offered many small plates of food. Hunowicz described it a bit more monotonous, but thought highly of the kimchi and beef that the guests self-cooked. The waitresses serving us often seemed a little terrified. This was our first night in North Korea. We dined in the hotel's basement in a small room, debating whether it was bugged and wondering whether we could trust one another. The whole group was 7 people. North Korean cuisine, he says, apparently lacks the concept of dessert, and travelers were advised before they ever got to Korea to bring their own snacks. However, North Korea did have some surprises, including alcohol and an interesting way of raising crops. He says they had beer and they had a Grimm, that's a German-themed beer bar. At one point, they served something else they called beer, but it was served in a shot glass. It had a double-digit alcohol content without a doubt. They took us to this spot, and this is up under a photo. He says they took us to this spot again and again. They must have been really impressed by this mural. The food grown in North Korea uses human waste as fertilizer. Large places of employment, as well as the ordinary population, are supposedly obliged to provide certain amounts of it for that use. One wonders what tourists produce as well.
They must have learned that from that Martian movie, growing potatoes from his
the
waste.
Martian.
Yeah, they must have learned that real quick. Hey, look what that guy did.
He says, I think we
love Matt Damon.
We've got an easy way to verify this too, and I know for a fact he's a listener, at least on Thursday nights. But Dennis Rodman, I know you're listening tonight. If you could call in, we would appreciate it.
Tell us what you saw.
Take. Give us your take on North Korea.
He says during his time there, he noticed few pets or children. He says the country is very depressing. He only saw a handful of people smiling or expressing anything other than obedience. They just walk in silence from one place to another to avoid foreigners like ourselves. one omnipresent site were the pictures and statues of Kim Il-sung that could be found in every corner of the country. He described North Korean culture as a blend of communism, Christianity, and Buddhism alongside myths and legends about Supreme Leader and how he created the world. That's right. Supreme Leader Kim Il-sung created the world.
They are gods.
I thought he was just a protector, but he actually is far and beyond.
There's a little bit more to this story and your calls and thoughts. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. What about the 5th floor of the hotel? Well, we'll tell you. This is Free Talk Live.
In these uncertain times, it makes sense to have a sustainable backup method to cook food and boil water. If your current plan includes using a fuel-burning stove or cooking over an open fire, then there's a much better way. The Minuteman Rocket Stove is a biomass-burning cooking stove that only requires small quantities of sticks and twigs for fuel. The Minuteman Stove is easy to use, smokeless, portable, powerful, and sustainable. For the finest in survival cooking stoves and fire starters made right here in the USA, go to MinutemanStove.com. That's MinutemanStove.com.
ProPure water filters, making water great again. Taste and feel the difference with state-of-the-art filter technology. Pro 1 G2.0 and Pro Max filters are independent lab-tested to NSF standards. Choose from Gravity, countertop, pitcher, shower, and inline filtration products. There's a ProPure for you. Buy risk-free today. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any tomfoolery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. And if you want to get your foot in the door with decentralized marketplaces, Agorist Hosting is now offering Open Bazaar hosting. Go to AgoristHosting.com. Click on the button that says Get Hosted. Agorist Hosting. That's AGORIST hosting.com.
On the second Saturday of every month, the Texas Republic Congress meets in a joint session. To learn how you can attend or become a member of Congress, visit thetexasrepublic.com. And together, we can liberate Texas.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Work with your doctor when taking medications. Make Protovite part of your healthy lifestyle.
HealthForLiberty.com is your source for Protovite, a powerful nutritional supplement that's a true breakthrough for your health. Poor digestion makes it nearly impossible to absorb the nutrition your body needs. Protovite is a liquid multi-nutrient formula with patent-pending absorption technology and the highest quality ingredients to nourish every cell in your body.
My name is Sandra White. 6 weeks ago, when I started taking Protovite, I was on 14 medications, from everything for blood pressure to fibromyalgia. In the first 10 days, my blood sugar dropped 50 points, and my fibromyalgia pain is gone. And so was 12 of the 14 medications that I was taking. I'm 66, living life and loving it.
Go to healthforliberty.com right now. That's healthforliberty.com.
Thank you, Protovite, for giving my life back.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll get to your phone calls and continue the story about the man that went to North Korea and snuck out a bunch of photos and saw some things he wasn't supposed to see. But maybe you are planning on going to North Korea. If you do, don't take any business cards with you. You keep those here in the U.S. Doesn't matter whether it's for your business or some organization that you have. But if you do need business cards, again, I don't advise you taking them to North Korea. They'll just get, confiscated, and you might wind up in one of their incarceration camps. But go to Vistaprint, and you can get 500 business cards starting at just $9.99. Now, you do have to pay shipping. Yes, Conan, you have to pay shipping. I know you got all upset because I didn't mention that one time before, and you went to go buy some business cards, and you're like, what's this shipping stuff?
Shipping is very important, especially if it's close to the same price as you're paying for the product. You're getting ripped.
Well, that's only if you get the I want this stuff here tomorrow that costs the same as the $9.99 for 500 business cards.
Get it snail mail.
And you can only get that if you use code FTL. Now, the business cards are fully customizable. You can customize the text, the colors, the back sides, use one of their thousands of industry-specific templates, or create your own design and upload your own custom creation. And they do have a lot more other than just business cards, but the business cards are by far the best seller. Again, 500 starting at just $9.99. Go to vistaprint.com. Use code FTL. Let's go to the phones.
No.
You're wagging your finger. Why are you wagging your finger at me?
Because you said something, and I have a thought. I want to bring this thought to the table.
Oh dear, Conan has a thought.
All right, so we're all going to go visit North Korea tomorrow, all three of us.
All right,
and we can take an item with us. We can sneak an item in that will net us a good profit, because the North Koreans really want. And no, it's not a bus ticket out of there. A ticket with freedom written on it, and a bus ticket to South Korea.
What was that snack cake that the people in North Korea were paying handsomely for and using as currency?
I have never heard of this. Like a Little Debbie snack?
No,
it was oatmeal cookie. Go ahead.
It was
Snickers
not
bar.
Little Debbie.
Snickers.
No, it's not a brand that would ring a bell to most Americans, but there is a snack cake, and somebody actually sent some to the LRN studio.
Oh, really?
A couple of years ago, and they're okay, but apparently, these things are bartered as currency in North Korea. So if I could smuggle something into North Korea, it would be these candies that are basically used as currency.
As opposed to one of those fake stars, fake badges. Like a China-made badge of obedience. What is it? What were they called?
They didn't give a name, but yeah, there's some kind of obedience badge. It didn't say how expensive the things were that you buy the counterfeit from China. So
I'm thinking I would take a suitcase of obedience badges. Chris, what about you?
But you don't have a suitcase of obedience badges, and it would be very difficult to get. It would be a lot easier to get these snack cakes.
I would be in South Korea, and I would be at the shop that made them, and I would walk them across the border.
They get them from China. Ricky, what would you take into the suitcase into North Korea?
Well, what would I take? I'd probably take a couple Rolling Rocks and sit down with one of their people over there and crack one open.
It sounds like what they're drinking is pretty strong stuff.
A lot stronger than Rolling Rock. I don't advise anybody ever putting Rolling Rock anywhere near their mouth. It is pea beer.
Wait a minute. I'm drinking one right now.
Come on, Daryl.
I'm sorry that you are not drinking good beer.
Have you ever had a bucket of rocks, Ricky?
You know what? Maybe, Daryl, I was thinking about this. This happened to my uncle, did it to my other uncle. Maybe that wasn't a Rolling Rock that you're drinking in that tall green bottle with white lettering on it, because I'm drinking one warm right now. It's like ale.
Yeah,
So-
you can't tell the difference of whether it actually is Rolling Rock or if it's a bottle of urine. Taste exactly the same. Rolling Rock is horrible.
We're just going to agree to disagree.
As is
I'm
Budweiser, as is Coors Light.
I'm a fan of the original Rolling Rock, not the post-purchase buyout Rolling Rock. But
by the way,
but
it tastes the same to me.
I always drank more Yuengling when I was down there than anything else.
I drink too much of that.
Chat room has informed me that the coveted snack cookie is called a Choco Pie or a Choco Pie.
Yep, that's it.
And it's basically a marshmallow-filled chocolate wafer kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's basically a off-brand moon pie. Ricky, you ever had a moon pie?
I have, actually. I've had a moon pie. Moon pies are scary. I have to admit, I love them, though. But that's not what I was going to talk tonight about. Kind of what it was tonight was, you see, I will tell you, in the future, when you guys are on, and I'm going to be talking to Ian, too. A lot of things are going to be coming out, because I can talk about so much now. But one of the things I want to talk about now is a little problem we're experiencing here in the Commonwealth. Right now, what's happening is, one of the things people like to do is play Pokemon Go for real. Now, I did mention, maybe under duress, but I got clearance of it, that I'm a Windows insider. Well, they like to play Pokemon Go for real. Insiders don't play Pokemon Go. I'll give you an example of that. See, I'll tell you how I dress, Daryl. And pretty soon I'm going to Skype in. You'll see what I look like. See,
We don't use the cam on Skype, so it doesn't matter
my
if you
my
use
picture
Skype.
on my profile.
We will see your profile picture. So
I'll give you an example of how I dress, and I think this might be part of it too. It comes from my hometown. That's why I dress this way. Now I dress, black T-shirt, black belt, which I might add, I bought at the Sporting Goods 25 years ago for $45. It's the same kind of belt that a state cop would wear. Black jeans, engineering boots. I got long, dark brown hair that's halfway down my back, the color of a dark chocolate bar. Now, I'll tell you what's going on right now. Example. See, one of the things people are doing is they like to call the cops on people just for sitting there. Maybe
people call the cops on you because you're dressed in all black?
That could be part of it, or maybe I have long hair or whatever. I mean, I had it at the Howard Johnsons. I spoke about this recently. And the biggest problem is it's not so bad when it's with Commonwealth cops. When it gets even worse is when you're dealing with the state cops. And the reason why is I then got to throw things away. I can't even deal with it. I just deal with the situation and I throw it away. I mean, I've been banned in several places because the big game that people are playing is they'll play, and I'm talking establishments. What'll happen is customers, and usually it's the New Yorkers and Jersey that are doing it. I had this recently at the Gap Diner. Now that, I didn't get banned from there, but I got banned from the Travel Inn where I went next. I had it at the Dollar Tree in Broadensville.
So why are you getting banned from places?
You get banned because you're playing Pokemon Go everywhere you go? What's the deal?
Well, you know what? I'll give you an example. See, what's happening is it's these people that are from New York and Jersey. See,
right, you already mentioned that it's people from New York and New Jersey, but what are you actually doing to wind up getting banned from all of these places?
All right, I'll give it. I'm just standing there, brother. Because what's happening is with people, I had it out front.
So loitering? You're being banned for loitering?
No.
Well,
that's what just standing there means, Ricky. Thank you for the call.
But he can't
Let's
be
go
you can't
to
be
Robert calling in from South Carolina. Robert, you're on
questions.
Free Talk Live. Hello, Robert. I guess we don't have Robert in South Carolina.
I wanted to know why he was getting banned. He was just
going to say people from New York and New Jersey again.
Here's where I was going. So either he looked like a criminal, or he was playing Pokemon Go where he shouldn't, or he was upset with the people from New York and New Jersey who were playing Pokemon Go, and he went and confronted them.
Fact, you cannot stand there and play Pokemon Go. You have to move around.
Yes.
Therefore, he was doing something else.
855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. More from North Korea.
Know that sound? That's the sound of trouble for CPAP users. Did you know that just one drop of water in your CPAP system can become a breeding ground for mold and bacteria? Breathe that stuff in and you're battling respiratory infections, allergy attacks, and more. But here's good news. SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It's the healthier way to clean your system because it kills 99.9% of germs in minutes. For a limited time, you can try it risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-951-9693. SoClean makes cleaning your CPAP a breeze. It's completely hands-free. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Don't let one drop of water wreak havoc on your body. Call SoClean.com now for your risk-free trial while supplies last. 1-800-951-9693. That's 1-800-951-9693.
Attention small business owners. Want to save money on your employee health insurance plan? Learn the little-known solution that could save thousands of dollars on your health insurance benefits and save your employees money, too. Call Health Markets for a free consultation, and one of our 3,000 local agents will show you how to make healthcare reform work for you. We'll design customized solutions for your business that can lower healthcare costs for you and your employees. We'll work directly with you to determine your needs. We search thousands of health plans from over 180 health insurance companies nationwide. You'll also find out if tax credits could save you money. Best of all, the service is free of charge. See why Health Markets has enrolled Americans in more than 2 million insurance policies. You don't have to wait for open enrollment to lower your cost. Call now. Find out how much you and your employees could be saving.
Representatives are standing by to assist you. Call 800-930-5137. That's 800-930-5137. 800-930-5137.
North, an extremely vocal opponent of gay marriage, drew fire during his 2010 re-election campaign for saying that the legalization of gay marriage would lead to man-horse marriages. In one instance, he told the New Haven Register, quote, "It's a slippery slope. If we allow two men to marry, what's next? Men marrying horses?" But yesterday, North found himself at the center of a media firestorm when the New York Times published photos of North on what appears to be romantic outings with a horse. Gathered during the Times' 2-month investigation, the pictures show North in almost a dozen locations with the same 3-year-old mare. A former aide discovered links to numerous horse-related sites, including phillyfreaks.com and hothindquarters.com on North's work computer. The Times is accusing North of using federal funds to pay for luxurious trips, including a 3-night stay at the high-end Sueños stables in Catalonia, Spain last month. North released a statement yesterday claiming he only spent time with the horse twice while conducting research for his anti-gay marriage project.
This is the Onion News Network.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This is your Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $5 higher at $1,324 per ounce. Silver is 15 cents higher at $19.07 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $608 US. Check our selection of Royal Canadian Mint products, beautiful bars and coins with enhanced security features. For more information, call Roberts Brokerage today at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight is Daryl,
Chris,
and Conan.
And we're talking about this photographer from London, Michael Hunowicz, who went to North Korea. And, well, Michael did some things that the North Korean government doesn't want you to do. He took some photos that the North Koreans don't want anybody to ever see. And he lived He went in August of last year. He has posted a story just recently. There will be the link on the Facebook and Twitter pages or Twitter feeds of Free Talk Live. And, well, let's get back into the story where he says he was told, "We love and respect our close family members. We are attached to our parents, children, partners, and it seems natural, or rather, that seems natural and normal to us." In North Korea, they teach their citizens that family ties are weak compared to the love of the Communist Party. Words like dear or beloved are reserved not for your wife or significant other, but for glorious leaders alone. The rumor is the 5th floor of the hotel we stayed in is entirely dedicated to the surveillance of guests. Some people manage to visit it. The door is usually closed when we would take the stairs, so it is worth a Google. He says the most daring stunt he pulled in his trip was to enter a local grocery store that was off limits to foreigners. When his guide turned his back, Hunewicz slipped into the shop. He says the lights were off and everyone froze. I had maybe 15 seconds in there before my guide realized what had happened and kicked me out. I managed to take 2 sneaky photos that show the dark shop with mostly empty shelves. He says it was a shop where you ask the salesperson to give you each product and you're not allowed to pick things up on your own. That's exactly the type of shops I remember from my early childhood before actual supermarkets appeared. I think that kind of shop reflects poverty and the lack of trust between people. According to Hunewicz, photography is allowed and encouraged in North Korea, but only in designated places that are well maintained and ready to be inspected by foreigners.
Do they call those First Amendment zones over there too, or just
probably
checking?
Not?
Because their First Amendment is the right to drink whatever hell I want to drink. As long as it's in the...
Is it? I don't know.
He says
it's the designated areas.
Everything else is not allowed. So you can take pictures where they say, you're free to take pictures here. You can't take pictures of anything else. He says, men and women in Pyongyang, we were told old marriages in North Korea are arranged. Visitors had to adhere to strict rules regarding photography during their time there. Photos while on the train were not allowed. Photos of soldier and military installations also not allowed. He says you were allowed to take photos at the DMZ, but not on your way to the DMZ. No photos inside the Victorious War Museum. Victorious, despite the armistice that they actually acknowledge. Shin Dong-yuk recalls students working in winter handling metal rods without gloves, which sometimes meant ripping skin from one's hands, and a punishment for complaining was sticking one's tongue to a freezing pipe of metal so that it would stick. He says camera rolls are typically vetted before visitors are allowed to leave the country. Visitors who disobey the rules were reprimanded by their guides. He now has a picture with a quote that says, "This is what Pyongyang looks like," from the Yongdo Hotel. On the left, the Koryo Hotel, supposedly on fire quite recently. And I believe that's the big giant hotel that's not actually finished and nobody is allowed to ever go there ever. He says, this is where you stay if you're Chinese. The Chinese are given a lot more freedoms than anyone else. They did tell one of us, or they did tell one of us off for taking photos of a soldier that we were allowed to photograph, but only from the front or the profile, not from the back for some reason. The photos had to be deleted. And he does actually have in this post a picture of a North Korean soldier from the back. He says certain cameras are also not permitted, including ones with lenses above 200 millimeters. His amateur DSLR camera was carefully scrutinized upon his arrival and throughout his entire stay. He adds, Pyongyang Times is a weekly magazine that was launched in 1965 and is published in English and French. The front page is usually dedicated to the ruling Kim visiting various places and handling precious advice. The magazine claimed that If the Olympic Games were held in South Korea, many sportsmen and tourists of the world would meet death infected with AIDS, and so many people had been deliberately infected by American soldiers. That's what they're told. He says the officer would leave our compartment many times. Each time we'd hide my camera, then she'd return, search for it, and inspect it again, which was becoming a bit nerve-wracking until she finally let go. Since South Korea is no longer providing fertilizer, North Koreans are charged with collecting feces in winter for spring planting. This is used to produce toibi, a fertilizer in which ash is mixed with human excrement. Factories and public enterprises had been ordered to produce 2 tons of toibi. They spent 3 hours at the border, surrounded by customs officers, soldiers, and police dogs that appear to be malnourished. He says, I was very uneasy about the illegal photos I had taken, but I took some steps towards getting them out. Changed my camera menus to Polish, took loads of boring photos to slow them down and discourage them from continuing to check. I had multiple memory cards hidden all over my luggage. I attached my least conspicuous lenses. Inside the customs facility, however, they demanded my phone. You had to give them your phone, unlock it, and then they'd search it while you stood idly by outside of the building. Well, I didn't have a phone on me as I left it in China. They asked if I had a camera. I replied that I did not. After that, they began to question other people, and having looked about me, I walked out of the building, hoping they would not stop me. They did not. I was lucky. They never saw my photos. Somehow, Hunowitz managed to bring his rare souvenirs home intact. His photos give outsiders a glimpse into the inside of the little-known lives of some 25 million people who live in one of the most secretive places in the world. He says, you have to be fast. Soon we noticed that while Pyongyang is meant to be a utopian showcase for foreign visitors like ourselves, there are more glamorous bits and there are less glamorous bits. What's more, our mute driver was perfectly aware of this, and so he would conveniently slow down whenever the surroundings were impressive and speed up whenever they were less pleasant to make them more difficult to photograph.
Come on, we do that too. If I have friends or family in town, you speed up.
There are certain parts.
Oh, yeah.
There's certain areas of Keene that you don't go through.
And I don't know what the big deal is or why everybody makes. I mean, they've got a perfectly fine constitution.
Oh, they do. They have an amazing constitution.
Yeah,
it recognizes
Article 6,
the right to privacy, the right to travel.
The organs of the state,
right?
powered all over, are elected at the principle of universal, equal, and direct suffrage by secret ballot. And even deputies of the organ of the state power at all levels have close ties with their constituents and are accountable to them for their work. The electors may recall the deputies they have elected if the latter are not to be trusted. I'd like that. Can we just recall our congressman? Not easily.
He says, before going, I was worried at some point that I would laugh because of the absurdities and get into trouble. But the reality is it was not funny at all. It was disturbing and depressing. Though he does say, I'd love to visit again, but not until it's a free country. When it finally shakes off the shackles, it will open up. It will tell all of its stories and offer us its stunning landscape. That will be a great time to go, and I hope it happens soon.
He wants them to have some of our freedom, some of our democracy.
No, I don't think he wants to give them democracy because, in theory, they already have democracy.
They coincide. They're one and the same, Daryl.
Yeah, but
freedom and democracy are the same, right?
Spreading American democracy generally means dropping bombs on people.
That's probably
and I know that there are some people.
This guy wants that.
I don't think you're speculating a lot.
He hates this place, but he wants to go back. I don't get it.
He says it's a lovely place. The government's absolutely horrible.
Okay.
But it's a lovely place to visit. Like, the
kind of like California.
The view. Right, California.
Yes.
Now absolutely horrible government.
We should bomb California.
No, we should not bomb anywhere.
Take over their vineyards.
No. And I can't believe you're even advocating such a thing. Your calls and thoughts welcome. Hour 3 coming up, 8:55, 4:50 free.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Well, tipping might be a great way. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card-sized Bitcoin tip that is easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets, spending, and returns to the user if unused? Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Here's a good idea. When you have a legal matter like creating your will or legally setting up a business with a corporation or LLC, you don't necessarily need a law firm. Use LegalZoom.com. At LegalZoom.com, you answer straightforward questions online, and they take care of the rest. They even review your answers for common mistakes and guarantee your satisfaction. Free Talk Live listeners, you'll get 10% off your order by typing in FTL in the referral box at purchase. Don't procrastinate with these important legal documents. LegalZoom.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, September 15th, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.11 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,323 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $612. Antiwar.com reports Syria's ceasefire is holding, with the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights noting that there has not been a single death over the first 48 hours of the truce. The U.S. and Russia have agreed to extend the ceasefire, which was initially set for 7 days, by an additional 48 hours. There have been dozens of claimed ceasefire violations over the period, with Russia claiming they documented 60 such incidents. Still no deaths to show for it. Stray gunfire here and there is a dramatic improvement over the usual situation in the Civil War. The U.S. State Department, similarly grousing about violations, conceded violence was significantly lower and said that so long as that remains the case, there would be more discussion of more extensions, with an eye towards an indefinite extension of the deal. Part of the deal was for 7 days of pause in strikes against the Nusra Front, with the U.S. and Russia launching joint operations against Nusra afterwards. Several Pentagon officials have expressed opposition to this idea, but it seems to still be at least on the table. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.xyz, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.xyz today to find out more. UPI reports the House Oversight Committee will conduct a hearing with executives from Mylan, a pharmaceutical company that has significantly increased the price of the EpiPen, an auto-injector used to treat severe allergic reactions. Witnesses for the hearing, which starts September 21st, will include Mylan Chief Executive Heather Bresch, who is the daughter of Senator Joe Manchin. Doug Throckmorton, Deputy Director of the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research at the FDA, is also scheduled to testify, as legislators have questioned the agency about delays delays in approving a generic version of the EpiPen. Committee Chairman Jason Chaffetz of Utah and Ranking Democrat Elijah Cummings of Maryland said in a joint statement, there is justified outrage from families and schools across the country struggling to afford the high price of the EpiPens. We also plan to examine ways to encourage greater competition in the EpiPen market and to speed FDA's approval of acceptable new generic applications. Mylan has raised the price of the life-saving injector to $500 for a 2-pack from $57 per shot when it took over production of the product in 2007. Bresh, who became Mylan's CEO in 2002, helped lead the company's lobbying efforts to have schools carry EpiPens for students with allergies. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports 3 rights groups launched a campaign on Wednesday to try to persuade President Barack Obama to pardon former NSA contractor Edward Snowden on U.S. theft and espionage charges before Obama leaves office in January. The ACLU, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch said the time was right to rally support for a pardon for Snowden, who leaked documents about top-secret U.S. surveillance programs to journalists in 2013, fled to Hong Kong, and was granted asylum in Russia. Speaking on Wednesday via video, Snowden told a news conference in New York City that he was comfortable with the decisions he had made, but whether or not he gets a presidential pardon is not up to him. Snowden added, I do not myself ask for a pardon, and I never will. Snowden said he could not receive a fair trial in the United States because a law he was charged under, the 1917 Espionage Act, does not allow him to explain to a jury his reasons for leaking information. A pardon now may make sense for Obama, according to some of the groups, because he may be seeking to burnish his legacy and be able to act with less concern for politics. Obama will leave office at the end of his second 4-year term on January 20th. The campaign coincides with the release of the film titled Snowden, directed by Oliver Stone. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
According to a new report released this week by the Pew Research Center, a rising number of weak, emasculated men are working as stay-at-home dads, with a steadily increasing number of feeble, pathetic fayboys choosing to spend their days cooking, cleaning, and performing other submissive duties.
Well, our findings indicate that more and more pussified half-men are not going to work, and instead are embarrassing themselves by purchasing groceries, packing children's lunches, and denying all aspects of their masculinity on a daily basis.
The Onion spoke to one of these effete, pathetic excuses for men to get his response on the new report.
I love being able to stay home with Angela. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
What a f***ing pussy. For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 3. We had been discussing North Korea, specifically the British journalist, or the British photographer, Michael Hunowicz, who went to North Korea and took a bunch of pictures that, well, they don't want anybody to see. He was able to smuggle them out by taking a bunch of mundane photos and having, according to him, multiple card. What's the name of that card that goes in the memory cards? Multiple memory cards.
SD card, or yep.
And he took a bunch of mundane photos to sort of deter them from going photo by photo through everything that he had. And so he took got a bunch of photos out, including a couple of pictures inside a grocer that he was not allowed to go in. Said the lights were off and the shelves were mostly empty.
I thought he had them all stored on his Kindle, and they just didn't look at it.
No,
that was stuff going in.
That was going in. He said that they were looking for books about Korea, even travel guides about North Korea they were destroying. But for some reason, they did not look on his Kindle.
I looked at the pictures, and I wasn't particularly amazed. There was a couple of pictures where, like, the officers or the soldiers had, like, their shirts unbuttoned, which probably someone's probably getting flogged right now. There was some dude who was, like, peeing on the side of the road. He's probably dead right now. And there were some vacant storefronts.
I didn't say they were anything to wow you. I said they were things that the North Korean government doesn't want you to see. The North Korean government doesn't want you to see the backside of a soldier, and he's got a picture out of his hotel window showing the back of a soldier. He's got a picture of the inside of a local grocer that has empty shelves that he was not allowed to walk into, but he snuck in anyway.
You know, I thought I saw a picture of a soldier looking right at him as well, and somehow he didn't get his camera taken from him whenever
You're allowed to take a picture
that was illegal
from the front.
That was all right? Yeah. So it just brought from
You can take a picture from the front, but not the rear.
Okay.
You can't take a picture while you're on the train of anything, let alone the soldiers on the train.
The most compelling picture, I thought, was the picture where he's looking down the river, and on the right-hand side you see China. It looks like a medium-sized to large city. You know, it actually looks like if you went to the U.S. coast and you went to like any tourist town, you've got a bunch of like hotels right there along the beach.
Right.
That's sort of what it looks like on the Chinese side. You know, a smattering of hotels up and down this coastline. On the opposite side, you just see nothing higher than one story. It really, to me, that sort of spelled out the difference between, you know, a little bit of capitalism and none.
And we know that North Korea has a pretty large military. Would you say, Conan, that they have a military-industrial complex?
I would say their entire complex is the military. They probably all serve at one time in their lives, right?
Right.
Isn't one of the
I don't think everybody does. No, because some people have to go serve in the field. Some people have to work in the factories and touch
between the
hot
ages,
iron without gloves, and then you get beaten if you complain.
Between the ages of 7 and 14, you work the fields, and then from 14 to 22, you work military.
And now Conan is making more stuff up because he doesn't know that.
It's always been recognized that North Korea fields one of the largest militaries in the world. It numbers in the millions. Out of their 25 million population, they've said they have had a 2 to 5 million man army. I mean, it's immense. And the bulk of their GDP, I don't know if it's the bulk. I'm trying to pull up some figures. But a lot of their GDP goes directly towards their military and their nuclear program and their rocket program and everything else.
I only asked about the military-industrial complex of North Korea because, well, apparently Senator Rand Paul was asked about the American military-industrial complex on CNN. We'll get to that story here in moments, but let's go to the phones. Chris, I'll let you pick line 1 or line 2.
Well, let me flip a coin and say line 1.
Line 1, we have Ralph calling in from New Jersey. Go ahead, Ralph.
I win.
I always like to talk about the issue of race because this animal,
that's the only issue you ever call in to talk about.
Well, okay. What about Obama, huh? What about Obama? Let's not ever gonna ignore or forget the animals, okay? Now, that being said, he wants to cast his lot, and he wants to, go down with Hillary, or, stake his claim with Hillary. So it's fair for us to look into the record of El Negro during the past 8 years. Now, here's what I think is, happened during the past 8 years with El Negro. He is one with Satan.
Yes, you said that last time. You said that last time, Ralph. Do you have any new information?
No, Ralph.
Do you have new thoughts?
It's kind of like the article of faith. Yes, I do. He's one with the black animals.
Yes, you keep saying that, Ralph. Thank you for the call. No, if Ralph ever has like a new thought, I'll keep him on long. I can only take the same statement from the same caller week after week after week for so long before I lose my damn mind.
But you'll never get it unless you draw it out of him. That's all I'm saying, is that when I've been able to ask some of these more challenging callers a couple questions, we get a little bit more. And I think Ralph is one of those guys. He's got a lot to say. I wanted to ask him about
Ralph's
Hillary.
been asked questions before, and he keeps going back to the same
Chris has gotten
thing.
information out of some of these guys. Hey, listen, Daryl, you've got to drive through their welcome center first. And Ralph has an extensive welcome center where
he certainly does.
And if you drive
banners.
through the welcome center, you're probably going to run over pedestrians. And if that welcome center is in the middle of Albuquerque, New Mexico, I can guarantee you Sarah knows somebody that got run over, because she knows everybody that gets run over, because apparently that happens on a daily basis. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, you know something? I'm a lot better caller than Ralph, because I really actually have interesting things to say. Like, you know, here in Albuquerque, we need...
You definitely have different things to say each time you call, and I will give you credit for that.
Okay, so tell us what's going on in Albuquerque.
You know something? He did have a laughing value. I did laugh for a good minute with his call. So, you know what? I mean, at least I got my circulations going. But, you know, what I wanted to say was that, you know, here in Albuquerque, we need hidden surveillance cameras at our bus stops. Because I'm telling you, because our bus stops here, it's a bar. You know, the alcoholics, they hang out and loiter all day long. They drink, they panhandle, and sexually harass women.
Oh,
and
hold
they
on.
even fight each other.
Are you talking about all alcoholics, like judges and lawyers and doctors, or just certain alcoholics? Because some judges and lawyers are alcoholics too.
No, but then see, they have a place to hang out. But over here it's a bar.
See, the judges have a place to hang out.
Yeah, they sit there because it's nice and sheltered, and they could sit there, and they take up all the seats. So the people that sit there, they have to sit like 5 feet away because they get panhandled, and they want to ask them to borrow their cell phone.
That's kind of like hanging out with judges and lawyers. But go ahead.
So and then they get mad, they fight each other, they vandalize, they crush the trash cans, they vandalize the bus shelters, they break the advertising windows, and you know, I just wish that we could have like an emergency push buttons at the universities at our most hostile bus stops. You know, and the thing is, I'm talking on a national show because, you know, if I was to call the city councilors and talk about it, they'll just ignore me. You know, like we pretty much know you know, how I don't know how I'm gonna get our city to change anything, but
if you want change, wouldn't it make a whole lot more sense to go talk to your local city council as opposed to calling a national radio show?
Well, you know, I'm trying to work at every angle. You know,
good.
Like
She's testing it on us, Chris.
Okay. Yeah,
well, you know what? I just want to kind of bring into the light that this is not like the bus stop here as compared to different. I mean, along Central.
Well, hold on, Sarah. Hold on. I think you're going somewhere on that bus that hopefully doesn't get derailed. We'll be back. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450 free.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-945-1063. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-945-1063. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-945-1063. That's 1-800-945-1063.
Attention, investors saving for retirement. What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands in the form of physical gold and silver coins? You know you can't do that with your stocks. With the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Augusta Precious Metals offers free shipping, zero management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free, so call today, 855-222-5857. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call toll-free, 855-222-5857 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call 855-222-5857. That's 855-222-5857.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio on demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Have you ever wanted to start your own website, maybe put up a blog, but you have not yet put the idea into action? And Conan, you just started a new project. Maybe you need a website. Well, you're in luck. HostGator is one of the top hosting companies out there, and they're offering a special deal to Free Talk Live listeners. Go to HostGator.com/FTL and get 30% off their regular prices. HostGator.com/FTL. Hosting your own website or blog can be intimidating, but HostGator makes it easy. They offer a simple one-click easy installation of WordPress. They have 24/7 over-the-phone or live chat tech support and a very intuitive and user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation and the simplicity of use into the hands of you, the customer. HostGator has a 99.99% uptime rating, so you don't have to worry about outages. Now, to get that special offer, 30% off just for Free Talk Live listeners, visit HostGator.ftl. We go back to the phones. Sarah, calling in from New Mexico, wants there to be surveillance cameras and emergency buttons at all of the bus stops there in Albuquerque. Right, Sarah?
Well, not all of them, the most hostile ones, along Central and San Mateo.
Okay, so who would be in charge of determining which ones are the most hostile?
Or you could just go by statistics.
Would
Highest
we
crimes reported?
Right, but would we need to create some government committee, because they can't just do the logical thing and have the city council look at that? They need to form a committee and then pay the members of that committee, and it'll take them 5 years to figure out which ones. And by the time they figure it out, then the statistics might be old.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, I just kind of feel like where they would get the complaint the most amidst like the bus drivers know, they know the ones that they loiter, they pick up the people that want to ride the bus.
So loitering is now, somehow. What was the term that you used?
According to Ricky, loitering is a crime, and if you and having long hair and wearing all black.
Right, but no. What was the term you used, Sarah? The not the most violent, but there was another term you used.
I called it most hostile.
So loitering is hostile, in your opinion.
No, but they loiter and they drink. They drink. They
and
fight
you said
each other.
panhandling too, right?
Yeah, and they do aggressive panhandling where the people can't. I know there's one stop. There's a little park behind it, and I was told that there's a bunch of heroin addicts, like 30 of them. They live at that park, and I cannot wait at that bus stop because there's like 3 drug addicts. I don't know if they're going to rob me.
How far away is the next bus stop?
Well, I have to walk like maybe another quarter mile. But the thing is,
so 3 blocks, that's not that far. You could, probably use the exercise. I think we all could. And, 3 blocks is not that far.
Well,
yeah, right. And another thing I wanted to say is that, that it's actually a bed. That I've seen the homeless people use it as a bed. And they
during the middle of the day or at night?
Wait, what are they using as a bed? Like a park bench?
The bus stop.
She's saying the bus stop.
Yeah, the bus stop. It's got a shelter. Yeah, I see them sprawled out. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, 11 a.m. They're sleeping in.
So what do you think should happen to these people? You think they should go to jail?
Well, before we go there, Sarah, do you have a cell phone?
Yeah, well,
So don't you already have sort of a panic button, a way to contact the police real quickly? And don't 99% of the people in Albuquerque also possess a cell phone?
Yeah, but I don't carry my cell phone. I don't take it with me. I just have my pepper spray.
So you defend yourself, too. That's good.
Okay, pepper spray's better than a cell phone. Sarah, so let me ask this question real quick. What do you think should happen to the people that are sleeping in the bus stop at 1 o'clock in the morning? Do you think they should be in jail?
No, what in the afternoon? I'm talking about 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, well, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, whatever. Do you think that person should be in jail?
No, but the whole thing is just really comical, because they put
Okay, so comical things don't need to involve the police. Sarah, thank you for the call. Let's go to Dave calling in from New Hampshire. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
I wanted to update you folks a little bit about the ongoing fight over free speech restrictions in the polling places in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm. Did anyone go and challenge that, Dave?
There's a lawsuit going on right now. They actually had a hearing a couple days ago.
No, not the one concerning ballot selfies. The one where they actually prohibit voters from entering the polling place wearing their choice of political T-shirt, badge, or
I don't
hat.
think that one's been challenged yet.
And I didn't own anything. I don't own anything.
Here's what's going on.
Go ahead.
Here's what's going on. 2 days ago, a state rep named Tammy Simmons tried to enter the polling place with a Rand Paul shirt on and was denied entry. So she came back with a lawyer. With regard to the ballot selfie issue, there was a challenge in court that was heard on Tuesday, I believe, at the U.S.
First Circuit Court down in
level.
Boston.
Yeah.
So the Rand Paul thing's kind of interesting.
They're both interesting.
Since he wasn't even running, he wasn't on the ballot.
Was she able to get into and vote when she had her lawyer with her?
I don't know what happened after that. But the other thing, I forgot what the other thing was. I'll think of it while you're talking to me. What was your question?
No, I just think it's kind of interesting that the law would be interpreted by somebody working at the polls to say any politician, even if that person isn't even running.
It's written in such a way as to where I really thought that the T-shirt that I was wearing that said "Love Not War" would be interpreted as
a political
somehow
message.
Right, it's definitely a political message. And the way they've written this thing, it's totally up to the discretion of the moderator.
And it used to be campaigner, someone who was working for the campaign. Now they have changed it to anyone.
No, they also changed it to, because it did not used to say that you could not wear a T-shirt or a button into the thing. They added
those
that.
words.
And no person shall walk into the polling place wearing anything that can be construed to influence the way someone should cast a ballot.
And they definitely got the word, because there was a sign out at our polling place which said no articles of clothing beyond this point.
I'm like, okay, so I can't wear a red shirt because red represents the Republicans in our country, and I can't wear a blue shirt. I can't wear a green shirt because that's the Green Party. I could wear gold. No, I can't because the libertarians. Gold.
And there was somebody down in Texas a couple of years ago that had a T-shirt that said "Vote the Bible." And they were told, you're not allowed to wear that in the polling place because it says the word vote, and somebody might take that as a voting recommendation, even though the Bible was not a ballot question and nobody on the ballot was named the Bible. Dave, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome, 855-450-FREE.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.